So today we are going to compare Rugby 25 and Rugby Challenge 4 on the hard difficulty level. One of the biggest complaints that we have as a community on Rugby 25 is that from the easiest to the hardest level, there's no real difference between the skill level of the AI user teams. In order to get a fair comparison between the two games, I am using Japan and South Africa, two international teams, across both games. Reason for this is despite there being a 5-year age gap between the two games, Japan and South Africa still have similar overalls between Rugby Challenge 4 and Rugby 25. This was, as the commentators said, a bit of a kickfest and a lackluster game. We had Tamura cook our first penalty to take us up 3-0, then Andre Pollard tied up the gap, making it 3-3. He was injured shortly after and had to be replaced by Damien Willemser. One thing with Rugby 08, Rugby 22 and Rugby Challenge 4 that they all have in common is when you replace a star player like Andre Pollard here on Rugby Challenge 4, who is rated above 90 overall, he has been replaced by Damien Willemser, who is a 76 overall in the game. Rugby 25, you will replace one player with another, and it's almost a guarantee that they would have the same overall rating. So losing a star player on Rugby 25, you definitely will not feel the effects as greatly as other games of the past. I was given an opportunity to take the lead just there, but I pushed a kick out wide with Tamura. We ran a set play here as AIs tend to do against you when you're on defense, which makes it a little bit more challenging but more enjoyable to defend. You will not have to deal with this in Rugby 25 as they don't have set plays just yet. Attempting to beat the Springboks here on Rugby Challenge 4 was definitely a tough ask. We were lucky enough that Chiz and Colby gave away a penalty late in the game, which resulted in the yellow card and us converting through Tamura, giving us a 6-3 victory over the Springboks. So if you're intending to play the world champion Springboks in Rugby Challenge 4, then just know that you'll have your work cut out for you. Now, moving on to Rugby 25. For this experiment, as stated earlier in the video, we will be using just Japan and South Africa, as the overalls don't differentiate too much from one game to another. To my surprise, I'm actually amazed at how similar the teams look on paper between Japan and South Africa as to what they were 5 years ago on Rugby Challenge 4. I pick and win from the back of the ruck there. I noticed that there's a glaring gap between the first defender and the ruck, and it's way too easy to get through. We would go on to convert the try. I do like the goal kicking mechanics on Rugby 25. As for the tactical kicking, not so much. We would then dot down for our second try of the game. From memory, we dominated the ruck, the possession, the territory in the game, and we weren't really challenged at all on defense as we secured the pill for most of a half. And to my surprise, not one of the 4 defenders nearest me decided to make a tackle attempt and let me run over for my third and final try to win the game 21-0. So I tend to agree with other community members when they say that Rugby 08 and Rugby Challenge 4 were a little bit more difficult to play against other AI user teams. I'm hoping that this is something that Rugby 25 can address moving forward. I hope you've enjoyed the video.